All right. Welcome everybody for part 2 of a very long day. Here you are all life science students, so we're going to talk about course enrollment as it pertains to life science students, because there are some unique things that you need to be aware of that students in other admission categories don't need to worry about so much. So feel free to ask questions along the way, and if I know that I'll be covering that in an upcoming slide, I'll let you know. And hopefully by the end of this session, you'll have a little bit of a better understanding about how it all works. Okay. All right. So in this session, we're going to cover choosing your first year courses, really from the academic calendar, which we were just talking about, with a focus in the life sciences. Making your timetable plan using the timetable builder, completing your registration by paying your fees, and then including a checklist of important dates and deadlines. And we'll hope to be able to get it all done in 50 minutes or so. All right. So first, user resources. And this will be talked about so many times. We have so many different resources. You are not doing this in a vacuum. There's so many different resources that are available to you. The Registrar's office, we have, I should have calculated the combined number of years of experience that we have. But I can tell you that Donald and Claudia have been working in the Registrar's office since, I think, 99 or 2000. I've been in the Registrar's office since 2006 in this very same position. Daniela, our financial aid advisor, has been at the university for 15 years and in the registrar's office for I think 7 or 8 now. A ton of experience. So likely your question is not unique to us, and if it is unique to us, then we know where to go to find out the answer. Please use us as a resource. It's a valuable tool. Okay. The Innis 101 Quirkus course, we've been putting tons of effort into the Quirkus, and you nodding your head, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully you've been using it. All of the calendar information, the timetable builder, all of these things that we're going to talk about over the course of 50 minutes have been broken down into small little videos that you can consume as you need them, or questions that you might have. And so the Innis 101 Quirkus, and we're constantly updating it, so it's a live document. Use it as a great resource for you. The academic calendar, which we just went over, the timetable builder, which we'll go through today, your Innis e-mentors and upper year students. These are all great resources for you. And departmental advisors, like I said in a few minutes ago. The departmental advisors are subject area specialists. I'm a generalist. So if you have specific questions about the content of a course, or the difference among the different options of programs that the department offers, you can find the departmental advisors, undergraduate advisors, the contact information in the calendar, and they're a really useful resource. Okay, so the two tools that you need to use over the next little while. The academic calendar is your go-to really for everything academic related, and then the timetable builder. Once you've figured out what courses it is that you would like to take, then you go to the timetable builder and start to put together your schedule. Okay, so I pretended that I was a life science student interested in a double major in environment and health and genome biology. So this is cut and paste from the academic calendar. It's really small on your handout, so I apologize for your eyes, which are really mine. This cut and paste from the academic calendar to show you what the first year required courses are for these programs. And you can see that they both require Bio 120 and Bio 130. They both require Chemistry 135, Chemistry 136. And Math 135 is an option for both of these programs as well. In fact, for the life sciences, you have a pretty standard 3-pack of courses that most life science students are required to take. Bio 120 and Bio 130, Chem 135 and Chem 136, and Math 135 and Math 136. These are the biology, chemistry, and calculus courses that nearly all first year life science students need to take for any particular program. Okay, so the thing is, if you did a major in both of these programs, you take these courses once and it applies to 2 different programs. So it's not like you have to take them twice and have them count for both programs. You take it once and it counts for both programs, which is great because if you wanted to add a minor on top of this, probably then would have room to do so. There is a limit to the number of credits that you can share between programs, but really you'll find as you're going through the different life science programs that bio, chem, and calculus will keep coming up. So if you're planning on taking 5 credits in your first year, then 3 of them are already planned, and then you just have 2 more credits to find courses to find that you might want to take. Okay, and here's another example from the pathobiology specialist. You see at the top, biology, chemistry, and calculus are also required, but at the bottom it says in first or second year physics. No program will require more than 3 credits in your first year that you're required to take for admission to the program. But there may be, as is the case with this pathobiology specialist, courses that you would more than 3 100 courses that you need to take in your first year or second year. So in this example, you can take biochem and calculus in your first year, and you can choose to take physics in an upper year without jeopardizing your progress in the program or your admissibility to the program. I also want to point out here that I've only talked about Bio 120, Bio 130, Chem 135, Chem 136, and Math 135 and Math 136, but there are also a whole bunch of other course codes out there. If you see courses separated by a comma, the word and, a plus sign, a semicolon, it means and. Course codes that are divided by slash are, or. So you have options here. There are a bunch of different first year calculus courses that you choose from, and 2 different sets of first year chemistry courses from which you can choose. And I have a slide coming up that gives you a little bit more information about why you might choose one over the other. Oh, sorry. Yes. It's both. So Bio 120 and Bio 130, right? They're 2 different courses. One is offered by the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. That's Bio 120, and then Bio 130 is Cell and Systems Biology. And you take both, one in the first semester and one in the second semester. Question, yes.
I know we has a year-round course. Biology has a year-round course.
No, no. And so the question is that chemistry has a year-long course. Does biology have a year-long course? The answer is no. The reason why he knows that chemistry has a year-long course is the Y in the Chem 151 course code. In most cases, the Y in the course code, which means that it's valued at 1 full credit. In most cases, 1 full credit courses run the full academic year. There are a couple of exceptions, but in most cases, a Y course will start in September and end in April. And the H course, in almost all cases, is semester-based. So either the fall semester, which is September to December, or the winter term, which is January to April. And the timetable or the timetable builder, you'll when we go through it, you'll learn how to know if the course is offered in the first or second semester. But,
so looking at one and half 2, you want us like so calculus 1 for the first half year and then calculus 2. With the exams that we do at the end of the program, have content from another course like Calc 1. So can I Calc 2 class? Do the exam have calculus 1, Calc 1?
no. So when the course is over, so it's a half credit semester-based course. When the course is over, you get a final exam in that course or final assessment, and then that's it for that course. Now, the next course in the series, so Math 136, will build upon knowledge from Math 135. So you have to have completed the course and earned credit for it before you can be eligible to take Math 136, but there'll be new content. And at the final exam for Math 136, you'll be tested on what you learned for that course. Question?
For certain specialist programs, that variable minimum grade at the top of that's I'm assuming it's different with certain specialties.
Yes, so programs, when you're applying to your program, there's two different kinds. There's open enrollment, which just means you will have earned 4 credits and you can join this program. So for example, going back to the 2 majors, you can see an environment and health for enrollment requirements. This is an open enrollment program. You've earned 4 credits. You're welcome to join the program and become actively enrolled in it. You still need to take those first year required courses and all of the other upper year courses as they list. But the open enrollment program means that there's no special application period. But for the pathobiology specialist and many other programs, they're limited enrollment. So the department will give you specific criteria that you need to achieve before you can be admitted to the program. You apply to it, and then sometimes it's very clear what that criteria is. Sometimes it's just they'll take a certain number of spaces that they can offer. Students can take the best of the students who apply.
That's based on the
It will be variable, right? And it's not a grade point average because it doesn't factor in your other courses. So only looking at biochemistry and calculus. Question online?
Yes, there's a question from chat from Anzar. They ask, would you recommend we take CHM 135H1 and CHM 136H1, or should they take the year-long course CHM 151 Y1? They want to know what the difference is.
Great. That's coming up in an upcoming slide. So good question, but I'll cover it. Okay. So a bit more detail on how to read a course description. So I know this is a very busy slide, but again, this is taken right from the academic calendar, the course description for Chem 222, and it's a really good example. And we'll go through this bit by bit. And there were a few questions in the last session about the number of class time hours. So here's where I'll get into the detail about that. So starting from the upper left and going clockwise, the first thing on the upper left hand side you'll see is the course code. Remember that all course codes have 8 characters, and the first 3 letters will tell you the department the course is offered through. The next 3 numbers will tell you the level of the course. This is a 200 level course. For example, the next letter will be an H or Y. H means it's valued at half credit. Y means it's valued at full credit. And the last number 1 just means it is taught here on the St. George campus. There are 2 other campuses, Scarborough, Mississauga, and those course codes end in 3 or 5. Next comes the course title. The next thing down is the number of class time hours that are required for the course. So this course has 24 lecture hours and 12 tutorial hours. There are 12 weeks in a semester. So what this breaks down to is there's 2 hours a week for lecture and 1 hour a week for tutorial. So what's the difference between a lecture and a tutorial? A lecture is a formal presentation presented to you by your lecturer, usually your professor, where they go through the lesson of the course for that time period. And it could be a very large class. Sometimes, particularly in the first year, there's a lot of information, a lot of students who take these courses, some of them are quite large. The tutorial aims to break down that large group setting into smaller group sessions where you meet with a TA or a teaching assistant who will then either review the material that the professor lectured about in that lecture. This is where your opportunity to ask questions. This is where you get some participation in the course, right? Because it's a little easier with fewer students in the room. They'll maybe have some assignments, you take some quizzes that will happen in your tutorial. If there was a lab, then it would be denoted by P for practical. And so there are practical hours for the course. Okay, next comes the course description. And then towards the bottom, there are a whole bunch of terms which you need to become familiar with. Prerequisite means prior preparation. These are courses that you needed to have taken before you can be eligible to take this Chem 222 course. So the prerequisite in this case is Chemistry 135 and Chemistry 136, denoted by the comma, or Chemistry 151, and one of these sets of math courses and one of these sets of physics courses. Right? So it's a lot. You needed to have taken chemistry, calculus, and physics before you could be eligible to take this course, Chem 222. Question?
What is the difference between a seminar and a lecture?
So seminar, that's a good question. I don't have a straightforward answer for you, but a lecture is usually like this style, right? A seminar is more discussion-based manner of teaching.
Yeah, there's a related question from the chat from Jasmine. She asks, she notices that CHM 135 has a prerequisite, and she's wondering if she doesn't take the prerequisite, is there any means for her to take that class?
So you may find prerequisites to 100 level courses, and these all relate to your grade 12 courses. Chemistry is going to build upon what they expect you to know from grade 12 chemistry. They're not going to check, right? You're not going to be kicked out of the course by not having grade 12 chemistry. You'll have trouble in the course if you haven't taken grade 12 chemistry. Then I would advise you maybe in the summer try and build up that knowledge. Yes.
For example, for that course that you showed there, would there ever be a course with you in the major program that has prerequisites that are not in that?
No. So that I guess I can say no, but in most cases, no. Or this course might be not a specific requirement in the chemistry major or specialist. It might be an option, right? So sometimes in a program description, there'll be a whole list of courses, and the program will say choose 1.5 credits from this selection here. So if you wanted to take chemistry 222, you would have had to have taken all of these. If you haven't taken, let's say, physics, for example, then you'll have another option of course that you will have taken the requirements of. All right. Co-requisite is a course that you have to take at the same time that you're taking this one. So for students who are enrolling in Chem 222, they also have to take one of these 200 level math courses in the same year. And an exclusion means that you're excluded from taking Chemistry 222 if you've taken any of these courses. Usually an exclusion is due to the content being too similar. But in history, for example, all of the 100 level history courses are different, but they're all exclusions of each other because the history department doesn't want you to take more than one 100 series history course. So, in that sense, the department has made this decision, but in most cases, it's because the content is too similar. And here's a good example of where you might run across a 3 or a 5 in the calendar, right? So if you've taken CHMB 20H3, that's a course at Scarborough. You're eligible to take courses at the other campuses, Scarborough, Mississauga. You've taken that course and you're excluded from taking chemistry 222H1. Distribution requirement, you can happily ignore that. Breadth requirement, no surprise, this falls under breadth category PR5. And the mode of delivery, that's a new line item in the calendar this year. This course is taught in person in class. Okay. Yes, question.
For co-requisites, do you need to take them within the same term or just for the
Well, that's a good question. In this case, the Math 235 is a year-long course, so you have no choice but to take it at some point. It starts in September and it ends in April. Other courses that say that they're co-requisite, if they both have credit courses and you take them both in the same semester, or you take it before, right? It could be a prerequisite or a co-requisite. Yes.
Yeah, Sabrina from chat has, I think, a similar question. She asks, is there any possibility that you would have taken a co-requisite before taking a course, and what would happen in that case?
Yeah, that's fine. They want you to have the knowledge from that co-requisite course. So if you've taken Math 235, for example, in year 2, and you're taking Chemistry 222 in year 3, that's fine. Yes.
For a year-long course, just out of curiosity, would the midterms be like in December and then the final
So if you're taking a year-long course, your midterms will be during the December final exam period, most likely. And your final exams will be in April with the rest of the course. Yes. Would you have midterms? Yes. Yeah, your students here are nodding vigorously. Yes. You have term tests. It could be, you might have 2 term tests and a final exam. So there may be a test in October and a test in November and then a final exam in December, for example. Or it may just be 1 midterm, 1 final. You may have multiple tests throughout the term. Okay, so the course variants. So I pulled this information directly from the department websites, but really just a line. The departments actually go into greater detail. So the math department, chemistry department, and physics all explain in greater detail what the difference between among the variants are. So math, first year calculus, there's 4 different options. Math 133 is really only relevant for commerce and economics. It's not an appropriate course, it doesn't count for any of the life sciences or computer science and math and physical sciences. Math 135 and Math 136 is really a standard course for the life sciences. It's more an applied version of first year calculus. You really don't need to take a higher level if you are interested in math and you want to, or if you want to pursue a math program or science program or physics program alongside your other life science major, then I would recommend perhaps taking a higher level like Math 137 or Math 157, which are more analytical based versions of first year calculus. Chemistry 135 and Chemistry 136 are the most common options of first year chemistry for life science students. Chemistry 135 is physical chemistry. Chemistry 136 is organic chemistry. And really the most will serve as an appropriate prerequisite for your upper year life science courses. If you're interested in chemistry and plan to pursue maybe a program in chemistry, you think you might like to do that and want to keep that option open, then perhaps Chemistry 151 is a better option for you. Usually it's a smaller class because there are fewer students who wish to do that. One thing to note is that chemistry and biology have labs every other week. The Chemistry 151 has labs every week. And physics, again, there are 2 different sets of first year physics courses. Physics 131 and 132 is totally appropriate for the life science programs. Physics 151 and 152 is a more accelerated version of first year physics and better suited to those students who are planning on pursuing a program in physics. Yes.
You mentioned that Chem and Bio have like alternative weeks for that. Is it like Bio 1 week, Chem the next week?
Yes.
So I could like in theory in my timetable put like a lab at like the same time as each other and then it makes it longer.
Yes. Have you looked at my slide ahead of time?
No, but I've like been working with timetables later. I can have you do that.
Yes. I know. I don't know why, but yes, and I'll show you how you can know that you can schedule the labs, labs at the same time on the same day, but not have them conflicting. So yes, that's a good question. But it's coming up. Okay, so I'm a life science student. My courses so far include bio, chemistry, and calculus. That's 3 credits, but I need to find a few more. So things to think about. Special opportunities, the first year foundations. You're going to hear a lot about them, and you're going to be so sick and you're going to say, I don't even want to take them. But trust me, they're good. These are good, small courses. Some of these courses in the life sciences that you take will be really large. I'm saying a lot, but I think it's me. Your first year bio course, Bio 120, has seating for 1,500 students, right? It's a big class, probably bigger than your whole high school. First year foundation courses are limited in class size to just 25 students, is something you're much more familiar with. You get to know the professor. You it's a much more hands-on experience. It's a subject in something completely different. My go-to example always was, but then the history department has now removed it, the history of soccer, which I thought was such a cool sounding course. History department has replaced it with pandemics. So I mean, does it make sense? It's more topical, but right, these are not related to your program, but the first year foundations are more seminar style, talk about more discussion-based kinds of courses where there might be some experiential component to them, where you'll have some more opportunities for discussion rather than straight lecturing. The first year foundations at Innis, you can find them on the Innis College website. There are 13 courses. Some of the advantages of taking a first year foundation at Innis course, one is that you have course enrollment priority. The whole first week, only Innis students are eligible to enroll in those 13, one of those 13 courses. Two, the courses are taught in the Innis College building as opposed to all around campus where your other courses would be. Three, you get direct access to the Innis librarian and the Innis learning strategist, because both of those people are integrated into part of the lectures of the course, right? And they'll help you with the concept of doing research and writing. And that's built into the course, and that might not be a part of some of the other courses. The first year foundations ones courses, to be honest, there's not an appreciable difference between ones courses and first year foundations. They're all small seminar style courses. The difference, really the most tangible differences with the ones is that they're college based. So the ones, each of the colleges plus the Monk School each run ones program courses that are related generally to the programs that they support or sponsor. So for example, Innis College ones program courses are cinema studies, writing, and urban studies related courses. Some of the ones programs have an application that you probably already needed to have filled out before you can, and then you wait to be admitted. Trinity one and Vic one are, I think, are the two best examples, but there may be another college one. Innis one, you can just apply or enroll in the courses on course one day. And then Flick. So I want to talk to you specifically about Flick because the Flick is the first year learning community. It's not a course. If you apply to Flick and you are admitted into the Flick, you are pre-enrolled into the same sections of biochemistry and calculus as your other current Flick students, affectionately known as Flickies. So you and the other Flickies will be enrolled in the same sections, and then every other week you would meet for it's actually Thursdays from 2 to 3:30, so you would need to keep that time space open in your calendar. You would meet with 2 upper year student peer mentors, a faculty advisor who in his Flick life science case is the undergraduate chair of the chemistry department, and a staff advisor who's me. And I have participated with Flick for the last 15 years. I've been a part of Flick, and honestly, it's one of the best things I do all year long. The upper year student peer mentors are really in their charge, and they come up with academic or social or developmental programming. The things that we might do during the year would be bringing in speakers from around campus, or taking a tour of the anatomy museum in the basement of the MedSci building, or taking a look at the greenhouses and getting a tour of the different ecology labs that are available there. So there's lots of different activities with Flick. And the nice thing is that when you meet every other week with these 20, 25 other students, you're also seeing the same faces in your classes because you've been enrolled in the same sections of biochemistry. Question?
If you said that we'd be enrolled in the same sections, does that mean like we're like automatically put into these sections?
That's right. So you will, if you go to the Flick website, you can see what the schedule is, so then you can plan your other courses around it. Okay. Yes.
So I have a few questions about the Flick. Have registrations already opened for it?
I don't know. I don't think so yet. The Central Faculty of Arts and Science usually sends an email out to students, again, talking about these special opportunities, including Flick is one of them. Go ahead.
Okay, because I was gonna say I was researching it. I happened to find a registration for it, and I filled out an application, and I didn't get an email like back from that. That was a concern. And the second thing was there was a confliction with the time that we were supposed to meet with the Innis
people in the flicks. You said it was Thursdays, right?
Thursdays from 2 to
On
3.
the application, it said Tuesdays. So I
Okay.
don't know, should I just ignore that?
I think ignore it for now. The deadline to apply is July 11th, so it hasn't opened yet. It will soon, and then you can apply again.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, 1 second. There's a question online.
Yeah, so there's 2 questions from chat. The first one is from Elaine, and she asks if we're taking 2 of the first year foundation courses along with like the 6 requisite courses, would it be advisable to also take a physics course?
Well, I think that's a personal decision. You might have trouble fitting it all into your schedule because bio has a lab, chemistry has a lab, physics has a lab, so that's a lot. But if you can fit it into your schedule and you feel comfortable with those courses, then go for it.
Yeah, and the second question is from Anzar. They ask, what do you learn in a first year foundation course, and does a course count as 1 credit?
So first year foundation courses could be full credit or half credit course, just the same as all the other courses. And what you learn is topic specific. So there are hundreds of them. So look in the arts and science calendar, go to the A to Z listing under F for first year foundations. You can find all the listings of the courses and read the course description to find out what you learn.
So if we apply for this like thing, does that mean that when we apply, like choose our like, courses and register on whatever day it was, like today?
21. Yep.
Does that mean that we already have those courses registered, so we don't have to worry about getting them?
That's right. You'll see them 100 times. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Now, there was, absolutely what's the first year? Do they all correspond on like the same weekend, or are there just differences?
So bio and chemistry and physics, their schedules are different. You'll see, we're going to do, hopefully it'll work, a live demonstration of the timetable, and you'll see how you can see the differences in the sections. Yes.
Yeah, some of them just weren't popping up. Does that mean they're not offered this year?
Yeah, so this is one thing that you might find is that the academic calendar includes all of the courses that could potentially be offered, but the timetable will show the ones that actually are going to be offered this year. So you might run into a discrepancy where you find like this amazing course, you won't find it in the timetable. And there was a question, I think, in the back. No. Oh, excellent. Okay, good. Moving along. All right, so strategies for choosing courses, just as a reminder, refresher, select your core courses based on the programs in which you're interested. Find at least 3 programs you think that you might like to pursue. Remember, for life sciences, this is easier because biochemistry and calculus are standard 3-pack for most of the programs. If you'd like to take 5 FCEs or full credit equivalents or 5 credits, you'll have room for electives. Make a list of elective courses that you'd like to take. If you're not sure, follow your interests. Think about things like, what do I like to do in my spare time? What do I like to read about? What interests me? This is probably a course that's related to those things that's offered here. Question?
I'm interested in psychology, and I might also be interested in like anthropology and sociology. Those are in the humanities and social science programs. How does that work? Like, am I able to use those at the same time?
Yes, I'm so glad that you asked this question. You are free to select courses from across the Faculty of Arts and Science, with the exception of all the upper year Rotten Commerce courses, and you can take computer science courses in your first year and upper years as long as you have the prerequisites. You can take courses, and you have to, for your requirement, take courses from the humanities and social sciences. You can also decide, life sciences is no longer my thing. I've taken this first year foundation course and I'm found out that I'm actually really interested in anthropology, which is a social science. You can abandon your admission category altogether and pursue that. That's fine. You can choose to pursue 2 majors or major 2 minors from 2 different or 3 different areas, or 2 different ones from the arts and ones from the sciences. You're still ending up with an honors Bachelor of Science degree. or an honors Bachelor of Arts degree. Actually, you get to choose at the end when you graduate if you do a major in one area and a major in the other, what you graduate with. So yes, you're not limited at all to just life science courses. Yes. There's no guarantee for admission into any courses. But we're going to talk about in the upcoming slide how the faculty does their best to manage course enrollment so that students who need the courses can hopefully get a spot in them. But there is not a guarantee for admission to courses.
I want to add something to like courses from other majors.
Okay.
As you said, some advanced courses are specific to only kids in that program, but university is very flexible. Sometimes if you just email the professor and they will let you in and you can enjoy your course.
Okay. Okay, so just final word on electives. Remember, electives are courses that you choose to take just out of your interest. Choose courses from other academic units. Remember that some of these courses would be program-related courses for students who are interested in pursuing that program. One thing to tell you about is that we have this thing called credit no credit. And for elective courses, excluding first-year foundations, but for elective, all other elective courses, you can declare up to 2 credits, credit no credit, which means that there's no mark that's associated with the your final mark in the course. As long as you get 50% or higher on your transcript, it would just show up as CR credit. So if you wanted to take a course that you were concerned you might not have as much time to devote to because it's not a core course, but you were really interested in learning Korean as a language, and you wanted to make the course credit and credit because you were concerned about how it impacts on your GPA. This is a great use for credit and credit. You cannot credit no credit any program-related courses, but for elective courses, up to 2 credits during your entire academic career, you can make them credit no credit, and then it just shows up as CR, or if you get less than 50%, it shows up as NCR. But in neither case, does it impact your GPA.
Actually, a question about like language programs. I know that some of them they say that you have to do an MC, you have to take a placement test for that. If you consider like a higher level, like a 200 level,
Yeah.
are you still able to take that?
Yes, you're not a guaranteed spot into it, but yes, if you have higher knowledge of a language, you're not actually eligible to take that introductory level course, and the department will ask you to move on to an upper year course. If you're interested in French as a language, if you have no experience whatsoever, you can enroll in FSL 100, which is a very basic introduction to French. But if you have any exposure to French at all, which you probably do, you need to take a French language placement test, and the department will get back to you within a couple of days to let you know what level of French you would be enrolling in. But just a note of caution, you can only ever take this French language placement test once. So don't take it now if you think I'd like to reserve some space in my 3rd year to take a French course, because your knowledge of French now and your knowledge of French in 2 years from now, when you're using it for 2 years, can be quite different. So just wait. You have a question?
About the French declaration test, if I did want to get into French next year as an elective, when should I take this test?
Just before the course, like a couple of weeks before course enrollment time.
Oh, so during the summer is okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's online test.
How many courses or how many credits did you say that I could do credit?
2 credits during your entire academic career. Yeah, so we're running a little bit short on time. So I'd like to move on because I want to give you some examples so you will see some more questions until the end. All right. So the courses that I'd like to take, I know from my programs, bio, chemistry, calculus. Psychology, Psych 100 is a course that is a life science course, may or may not be related to a particular program. I've shaded it a different color because I may end up using it for neuroscience, for example, if I go into neuroscience requires Psych 100, or it may end up being an elective for me. And then in blue, my 2 elective courses, first year foundation in Innis course and Hungarian 100, interested in the language, and that's my 5 credits. Okay. All right, so here's what the arts and science timetable looks like from the Innis course page. You can actually find the direct link to it. There are 2 different timetables. This one, it says the old arts and science timetable. It's still actually updated with the current information. It's just the old format. I personally find it easier to use, but because we've now launched this new timetable builder, we're going to look at the this timetable builder as your way of selecting courses. Okay, so information that the timetable gives you that the calendar doesn't. With the mode of delivery, there's in person or online. Online could be synchronous or asynchronous, so all that information is in the timetable. The section code, whether it's in the first semester or fall, or the second semester or winter, or if it's a year-long course. The lecture, practical, and tutorial schedule, from which you need to select one option from each of those styles of course delivery. And then class location. It's not available now, but it will be updated probably in August. There'll be a hyperlink on the room number and building number that's on the timetable that will show you a campus map. So here is an example of a map of the campus. It's massive, right? It's a huge campus, and I've drawn these red lines down so you can visually see that the campus is divided up into 3 sections: west, central, and east. And you have 10 minutes to get from class to class. So, right, which generally, is enough time. So if you have back-to-back classes, you have classes from 10 to 11, for example, that 10 o'clock class actually starts at 10:10. And then you have an 11 o'clock class, that class starts at 11:10. So your 10 o'clock class will end at 11, and you have 10 minutes to get to your 11 o'clock class. And if your courses are anywhere within one of those thirds, right, the west, central, east section, 10 minutes is sufficient. Anywhere from central, east, or west is also 10 minutes is also sufficient. But if you're going from southwest to northeast in the middle of winter, when Queens Park turns into a skating rink, it's really difficult. Am I right? Yeah. You run, or get rollerblades, or a bike. It's tough. So right now, you'll be choosing your schedule not knowing where the classes are going to be held. When the class locations are listed, I encourage you, if you have back-to-back classes, just to go look at a map and see, because you might suddenly want to change your sections. All right, we're going to go into time to build it. Yes.
Are the bio kind of not also typical calendar the same?
No. Bio, yeah, no. Okay. Oh my gosh.
You have a mouse?
No, I've got
Oh, it's over there, right there. Yeah. Do you sign in with that data? Don't allow. Confirm. Oh gosh, it's the first time set up. Don't allow. Continue. There we go.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, this is the timetable builder. Remember, you have a list of courses you already know that you would like to take. The first thing you need to do is select the right faculties, Faculty of Arts and Science. And then the next thing you want to do is to select the course that you plan on taking. So I'm going to start with Math 135. 135 pulls up the list of the Math 135 options. The Math 135, you can see it's offered in the first semester and the second semester, because you need to take these courses in sequential order. You want to take Math 135 for the first time in the fall. Search. Scroll down. Here are my lecture options, right? You can choose lecture section 0101, which meets Tuesdays from 11 to noon and Thursdays from 10 to noon. We don't know the location yet. Here's the instructors. Class size of 450. All 450 spaces are available at the moment because course enrollment hasn't happened yet. There's currently, there's no waitlist available for this course. And someone asked a question about, is there a guarantee to get into my course? No, there's no guarantee. However, the department puts enrollment controls on many courses that limit the students who have access to enrolling in those courses on your course enrollment day. So in this case, for math 135, only students who are in a science program, right? So you're in the life sciences or computer science or math and physical sciences, or upper year students in the honors Bachelor of Science, who most likely will have already taken this course, will have access to enrolling in the course enrollment day. If you're a humanities or a social science student, for whatever reason you'd like to take calculus, you are not eligible to enroll in this course on July 21st. You have to wait till the priority period is over. There are a whole bunch of enrollment controls, and I'm going to get into the details of the most common ones that you'll run into as we get a little bit further along in our presentation. Okay, so you can see there's a whole bunch of different lecture options, all offered at different times, things to think about. You don't want to have too many courses all together on the same day, ideally. You like to think about things like, am I a morning person? Do I really want to get to class at 9 a.m.? Maybe you have a long commute. I see a lot of shit ahead of the street. No, I'm not even. Right, so maybe you have a long commute. You don't want to get on the subway at 7:30 in the morning. Or maybe you also have a long commute. You don't want to be on the subway at 9 o'clock at night because there could be some courses that end at 9 at night. Or maybe you're an athlete and you need to leave certain amount of certain hours in the day available for practice, or your job, or other family obligations. These are all things to think about. When I was an undergraduate student, I built all my courses around my soap opera. So I needed to be able to see it. I didn't have VCR back in the day, and so I had to be available from 1 to 2 every day. Okay, so continue to scroll down past the lectures, and you see there are tutorials. And you know from the calendar that there are tutorials that are offered. You can see the class size is much smaller, just 30 students in the tutorials. So you pick one from each section. One lecture, I'm going to add this one, and then the tutorial, and I will show this table. And this is what it looks like right now. So here are my lectures. Here are here's my tutorial, and then I will build upon this for my next courses. Yes.
Tutorials and labs and lectures typically in the same building, the TA has to move from the,
No, they're all over because they're like completely different times, right? So your lecture is Wednesdays in the afternoon. Your tutorial is Thursday in the morning. Yes.
Does the time of the tutorial matter? Like, should it be after the lectures for the week or no?
No. Yes.
So there's honest, like all your courses that have like the system on it.
There is. I'm not going to show you how that works because I don't think that it's a useful tool. I think that it's better to take ownership over your own choices. You can say, add this and then auto-populate it for me, but it doesn't know what's important to you. And it also, there's some glitches with it. This is a brand new system, and you may end up making a plan to take a course that's actually you're restricted from enrolling in. Remember, this is just a planner. This isn't enrolling. Yes. You choose both separately. It's often students forget, so don't forget. Right, you choose a lecture, continue to scroll down. Unfortunately, in the timetable that I find easier to use, it's color coded, right? Lectures are green, tutorials are purple, labs are different colors. This one is all gray. You just have to scroll through and choose one from each. All right, I'm going to do a different example. You had a question?
Just want to know real quick, is there like a difference between different PAs
Yep.
offering the tutorials and the lectures?
Yeah, some are good, some not so good. You won't know until you get there. The material will be the same. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you an example. I don't want to run out of time for bio 120 and chemistry 131 because of the alternating labs. So here, this is also a good example because this lecture, this lecture with nearly 1,500 students is in person, right? Also enrollment control, priority enrollment control for life science students. Some sciences. This lecture 0201, is online, asynchronous. So this is, of course, you can pursue online asynchronous, which means the lecture is pre-recorded and you access it on your own time. But you would need to be in person for the final exam. Other things to look at, see this restricted section here. This lecture 2000 is actually restricted only to students in the transition 1-year program, which is not exactly art and science. And this was also restricted. So you wouldn't be able to enroll in one of these ones. Okay, so I'm going to choose in person. Okay, and then the labs. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different labs. They're 3 hours long. They meet on different days. In the more course information, so a lot of writing, and it's very easy to miss this stuff. So practical sections meet on alternating weeks. So practical sections for biology and chemistry end in the number 1 or end in the number 2. And if it ends in the number 1, the lab starts the week of September 19th and goes every other week after that. And if it ends in the number 2, then it starts the following week on the 26th and goes every other week after that. Chemistry is the same. Here's the kicker, the moment in the timetable. Chemistry doesn't say anything about alternating labs, but trust me, that's how it works. Hopefully their information will be updated shortly. So you can schedule your biology lab and your chemistry lab actually to meet on the same day at the same time. You have to ensure that one lecture section, lab section rather, practical section has the number 1 at the end of it, and the other course has the number 2. It will show up as a conflict. It's not a conflict. Just ensure that one ends in the number 1 and one ends in the number 2, and I'll show you. Practical 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Okay, so this up, and it's telling me right now this is a conflict. This doesn't work, so I'll choose that's also a conflict. Okay, and now I can look at the timetable. You can see it's coming together. Okay, you want to do this for both the fall and the winter. This is your planning tool. You will enroll on July 21 in both fall and winter term courses. You can change it. You can add different courses up until the second week of the term. So if you don't like your schedule or you discover that even 10 a.m. is too early for you, that's fine. You can add different courses after up to the first 2 weeks of the term. So for winter term, you actually have a really long time to adjust your schedule. But F and Y courses you have until just 2 weeks after the first 2 weeks of school to add any more courses. You can drop courses later on. You just want to be able to add them. Okay, I'm going to all right. So I've done this for all the courses that I wanted, and this is what my fall term looks like. Right? I've got classes, none of them start too early in the morning. I've got my labs that appear as a conflict, but they're not a conflict because one ends in the number 1, one ends in the number 2. My calculus course is my only late evening course. I don't have too many courses on Friday. I've got time for lunch every day. I've got time in between my classes. I would encourage you not to put large blocks of time in between your classes unless you have a plan for what you're going to do with that time, because time just somehow dissolves. And then you think, wow, 5 hours have gone by and I've done nothing except for scroll Facebook, right? And that's 5 hours when you could have been studying. There's not a whole lot of class time hours, right? 3 hours a week of lecture is really not that much. But the university will expect that you put 2 hours in for every of your own time, for every hour of class time to learn the material. I encourage you to read ahead. So you'll get a syllabus which will explain to you exactly what the course content is and what's upcoming. Read the chapter ahead so that when the professor is explaining it, it's actually review for you. Right, here's my winter term. It's a little bit busier, but still, it fits well into my schedule. This is a planning tool. all of course management happens on Acorn. So once you have this plan, you can export it to a PDF and then go to Acorn. You can go to Acorn starting in July, really. So starting on July 4th, you can go and find out what your start time is. That's at the time that you'll be assigned access to Acorn on July 21st to enroll in your courses. And so between July 4th and July 21st, go to Acorn, put these courses into your enrollment cart. It's like online shopping, right? You select, put it into your enrollment cart, and then you go back on July 21st and just hit enroll. Hopefully there's space available in all of those courses. It updates in real time. So you will know if the section is full. You might add yourself to a wait list. I have information on wait list coming up. Your question?
Yeah, when you do course enrollment, is that also included deposit?
Your tuition? No, I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so we covered this, a note about alternating labs. Really try and pay attention to this, because what you also don't want to do is to put 2 labs in 1 week and then the next week with no labs. Try and have lab every week. Okay. Yes.
Just like the enrollment thing, is it like everybody at once just goes for it? Or is there
So
like?
all first year, no, so you have a start time, right? So all first year students will gain access to Acorn on July 21st. You will have an enrollment start time, a time that has been assigned to you, and that's when you gain access. Yes, everybody gets a specific time in which you'll gain access. For first year students, honestly, that in course enrollment, start times are assigned by admission category. For upper year students, it's based on the number of credits that you've earned within that year of study. So humanities and social sciences typically get first access to enrolling in courses, and then I think it goes to math, physical sciences, computer science, life sciences, usually at the end of the day, which means that for for some of your elective courses, you may want to have a few options because some of them may be full. And that is typically the way that it goes at life sciences go at the end of the day. But for your core courses, because of the enrollment controls, you should have no trouble getting into some of the questions.
Yeah, 2 quick questions from the chat. Juliana asks if she takes an elective as a credit, no credit course, will it count towards breadth requirements?
Yes.
Yes, it does. And Anzar is asking, how do you know if we should enroll in lecture, practical, or tutorials?
Okay, so every course has a lecture. You must enroll in the lecture. Some courses also have tutorials. You'll need to scroll down through the timetable builder to see. Black. You'll scroll down to the timetable and you'll see the tutorials listed. You keep scrolling and you'll find the labs listed. If there are sections of tutorials and labs, you must enroll in those as well. They're not optional. Okay. All right, enrollment controls. This is a complete list of enrollment controls, but really the ones you run into most often as a first year student are P for priority, E for enroll at the department, which means like for some language courses, you need to go and take a test there at the department. I think many of the East Studies courses are language courses, are E courses. Some of the WISE programs courses are also E courses and are restricted. Restrictions never go away. Priorities get lifted this year as of July 29th. So the course enrollment priority up until the 27th, 28th, there's no course enrollment at all. 29th, any spaces that are left over, other students from other admission categories who didn't previously have the priority can enroll in courses then and that day. Okay, delivery modes. Most courses, this is an in-person university. We're trying to get back to completely in person, but there are still some online courses that are available. You can search the timetable builder actually for courses that you can do an advanced search, and you can look for courses that are just online. Online synchronous means you have to log in at the same time, or the course has a specific meeting time, but you know it's online. Online synchronous may also have in-person assessments. So if you're elsewhere in the country or the world, you still would need to be on campus for in-person. Online asynchronous means that the lecture is pre-recorded and you can access it on your own time, and then online asynchronous in-person assessments, the same thing. You need to be on campus for tests, midterms, final exams. Okay. I'm going to try and go a little bit more quickly now because we're really running out of time. So when and where does course enrollment happen? So where it happens on Acorn. So Acorn is where all your course management happens, where you can find out your invoice, where you see your grades, your enrollment courses, you update your address, put in your banking information. Acorn is your go-to place. So on the left-hand navigation under Enroll and Manage, you have an option, courses or programs. You choose courses, and then you put in all of the courses that you worked so hard with the timetable builder to select your schedule and add them to your enrollment cart. So when do your start time on July 4th or later and enroll, you get first gain access at your start time on July 21st. If you are a transfer student, upper year transfer students, second year students go on July 18th, and third year students go on July 14th. Right, so fourth year students get first access, then third, then second. Yes.
So for Acorn, when it opens, you have a course already there to submit.
Yeah, in your enrollment card. Yeah. So
And if you add a course and as like when it reaches your enrollment, it's closed. Is it just removed or?
no, you can choose to add yourself to a wait list. And it's reasonable to add yourself to a wait list, so it's all updated in real time. And it's reasonable to add yourself to a wait list. The wait list number is within 10 to 15% of the total class size, because lots of change happens between course enrollment and beginning of classes, right? It's change your mind a lot. So if you're on a wait list, as the space opens up in the course, the next person is automatically selected.
Like, is it possible to not get into some courses and then have less than the required set?
Yes, but then there are lots of other courses from which you can choose, right? Because there are other courses that then you can just decide to take instead. Okay, so tips from me, your friendly expert. Plan your courses well in advance of July 21st. I really can't say this enough. It's going to be a stressful 5 minutes from your enrollment cart to enrolling, but plan it well in advance. Have several options for different courses if you want. On July 21st, note that you can add up to 5 credits worth of courses. After the priority period is over, you can add a 6th. I don't recommend that you take 6 credits worth of courses. It's an agreement here. But it's useful to maybe add yourself to a 6th credit because maybe you're trying to decide between 2 different courses. And so you add yourself to that 6th course, and then you attend the lecture for both of them the first week or 2, and then decide, oh, I'm actually going to choose this one, and then you drop the other one. Start enrolling as close to your enrollment time as possible. We already talked about wait lists. Enroll in the fall and the winter term courses for the full academic year. Courses for which you don't meet the enrollment control cannot be added to your enrollment card, so just be aware of that. And course enrollment is changeable up until the second week of the term. Okay, so fees. Your fees will be posted on your account as of the middle of July. So your course enrollment is one part of your responsibilities. Second part is fee payment. The two together equal registration, and that's what you want. You can enroll in courses, and it signals to the university you're thinking about coming. You pay your fees. You let them know, yes, I'm actually coming, and you secure your spot in your courses. And this deadline is August 31st. You need to make sure that your fees are paid by this date. You can pay on this date. That's okay. It takes a couple of days for your payment to actually hit your account. But you want to see your status change on Acorn from invited to registered. When it changes to registered, you know that your fees have hit your account and that you're secured your spot in your courses. The minimum payment is 50% of your total academic fees. Your invoice will actually tell you specifically down to the penny what that minimum payment is. You can pay the whole thing, or you can pay the minimum payment. You can defer your fees if you're using OSAP or other financial aid, because your actually OSAP money comes in after school begins. You can defer your fees on Acorn, which just basically says, I know I'm getting financial aid. I promise that I'm going to pay, but the money will come in after September. Yeah.
What if you have scholarship?
So if you have a scholarship and the scholarship is valued more than the minimum payment, then you can contact our office, and there's a fee deferral process that we can help walk you through. Okay. So note about fees, check your invoice on Acorn. There'll be no paper invoice that's mailed to your mailbox. Note that if you've paid an admission deposit or a residence fee, it won't trigger registration. You actually have to pay your tuition fee. Fees are based on a program fee. So the university expects that you're going to be taking at least 4 credits. Their program fee is based on 5 credits worth of courses. If you take, and so then there's a flat fee, and adding and changing courses doesn't affect that. If you enroll in 3.5 credits or fewer, you're actually charged per course fees. And then when you drop courses, depending on the time of the semester that you drop the course, you may do further refund. Okay. If you don't make a payment by August 31st, the university will assume that you change your mind, you're not coming, and they will remove you from all of the courses that you've enrolled in. That removal usually happens about 10 days after August 31st. So it gives time for the money to hit your account. And then all the people on the wait list, they thank you very much, because now all the spaces have been created and now I get a chance to get in. Okay. Final thoughts. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. Acorn doesn't check for prerequisites or co-requisites. You could actually add yourself to an upper year course for which you're not eligible to take. The departments will check. And the departments will check and unceremoniously remove you from the courses whenever they discover it, right? So it could be even after it's too late to add additional courses to your schedule. So you're responsible for making sure that you're eligible to take the courses that you're enrolling in. Daytime classes start 10 minutes after the hour. Classes that start at 5 p.m. So evening courses actually start directly on the hour. Building and room locations will be updated in on the timetable builder and in Acorn in August. Acorn doesn't prevent you from making timetable conflicts. Plan carefully. You will not get any special consideration if you knowingly enroll yourself into 2 courses that meet the same day and same time. You need to be responsible for that. If you're on a wait list for a course, the wait lists actually turn off on the 16th of September. And then there's usually about 3 more days that you can still enroll in courses. And at that point, it's a first come, first served. Spot opens up, you can grab it. Dates with no course enrollment, July 28th, August 2nd and 4th. Acorn actually shut down for course enrollment. You can still drop courses, which is unfortunate because then you can't do anything to fix the mistake and add a different course in. So it's best to avoid it Acorn altogether on those 3 days. Classes start Thursday, the first week in September. I think that's September 9th, 8th. Okay. Okay, Registrar's office is here to help. If I've done nothing else, quickly, I've imparted to you that I know this stuff inside and out. So if you have any questions, I can help walk you through it. Innis College new student page, Innis 101 Quirkus, please use that. That's a really great resource. Your upper year student year mentors are here to help. Faculty of Arts and Science has a ton of online resources as well. And we've asked a lot of questions already, so I can't imagine these long questions, but if you do, so please feel free to ask. Yes. All on Acorn. Yes. Yes. Okay, question from online?
Yeah, question from chat wants to know what the rough fee is for, I guess, tuition fee for domestic students.
Oh, I don't have that number committed to memory. It's somewhere around $8,000. But you can look at the UTC's website and that information will be there. Or go to Innis 101 Quirkus and there's information there as well. And there's a direct link to the fees website.
When enrolling, if I find myself enrolling to or being added to a wait list for any program, would you recommend signing up for that same program at another time it's open as well?
You mean the course?
Or course, sorry.
You can't be enrolled in one section of the course and on the wait list for the same course.
Okay, so if I stay on the wait list, I kind of just have to take my chances.
That's right. Yes. Okay.
The language course, you could do the online test right now. Right?
You can, yes, you can do the online language test right now. You can find it from the departmental website or from the Arts and Science calendar. That information is there as well, yes.
When you enroll for course, we just put how does it work? We just put all of our courses on.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. question.
So not just about enrollment, and it's for the
You might want to ask the residents folks. I'm not sure. Yes.
Oh, yeah, social science and humanities, courses, is there anything different? Like, for enrolling or?
No, all the course enrollment rules are the same. Yes.
Since courses that we do requirements in the first year,
Yeah.
the elective teachers.
Oh, no. Your elective courses are simply electives. And the departments, when they're considering your admissibility to the program, will only look at the courses that are relevant to them.
That are required.
Yeah, or they may even look at fewer of those disciplines. So like neuroscience might say, oh, only when you consider the mark in chemistry and bio 130. For example, when determining your admissibility, you still need to take bio 120, but that mark is not going to factor into your admissibility to the program. Right? So every department, every program is different. That's right. Yes. Sure. Okay, so I'll stick around if you have any individualized questions. I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, you're free to go. We would go back up the yellow highlighter color of you follow your students back to the screen for lunch. Thank you, everyone.